and welcome to Incoherent Thoughts, episode 23, with your weekly hosts Gabriel Bednay and Bradley McQuarrie.
Yay!
Yay! Also, later on in the episode, we'll have special guest Judcia Williams. No claps, Brad?
No,
Why? You're only clapping?
I don't know. It's just like we already know they're special. Do we have to clap as well?
Jealousy, I see.
Mm.
So, Brad, what did you do this week?
Man, I was computer stuff.
Ah,
I went outside as well.
whoa. But I heard you'll freeze to death if you go outside in Canada. That.
Yeah, that's why you just have mobile igloos. It helps a lot.
Mobile igloos? Now, is a
Yeah.
mobile igloo on a sled or on wheels?
It's just not another igloo.
So it's like instead of a half sphere, it's a complete sphere, and you just roll in it.
Yes.
That's actually pretty awesome. Now,
Mhm.
is there still a hole, or is it more like a hatch?
Yeah, it's mostly hatches. You don't want to fall out.
Okay. That sounds pretty awesome. And so
Mhm.
I assume you move these as a la a gerbil wheel or something, or hamster wheel.
Yeah, that is a typical way of moving the igloo.
How do you know where you're going?
You don't. You guess.
You just move forward and hope you don't die.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, it's risky going outside, man. Gotta take those risks.
that's true. That's true. So what'd you do outside, Red? Other than badminton?
I went to like the grocery store and bought stuff.
What'd you buy?
I got some sushi
Mm.
and some mashed potatoes and some pizza pops.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I too went outside and did computer stuff.
Oh.
For those who didn't listen to last week's episode or have since forgotten, this past weekend was MTAC, and I had a great time. It was really enjoyable. This year was the 15th MTAC and my 8th MTAC. Jesus, that's a lot of conventions. But yeah. My 8th MTAC, and it was a lot of fun. I won't say it was my favorite MTAC, but I did try out a lot of different new things this year that kind of refreshed it and made it more interesting. This year, I spent a lot more time doing stuff to keep myself busy. While in previous years, I would just kind of go do things whenever I felt like it, meet up with friends and just kind of do things. This year, I kind of had everything, planned out with people, like what we were going to do, what we were going to see. So there really wasn't often much time to just do what we wanted, especially since most of the time we spent as a group with I guess 8 people was typically how many we were walking around with. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So a few of the things that I was trying to do this year was cosplay, do my panel, and do the lip sync contest. The panel was first, and that was a lot of fun. I think it went pretty well. If not, okay at the worst. The lip syncing was pretty mediocre, but I had a fun time doing it, and that's what we wanted to do when we signed up. And then the cosplaying, I only did it for a very small amount of time, because I was originally going to do it at the lip sync contest, but I realized I couldn't really do it in the cosplay, so we didn't really have time to put on the cosplay at after the cosplay contest or after the lip sync contest, so I didn't really get to wear the cosplay that much. So that was unfortunate, I guess, but also maybe a little fortunate because the wig I got ended up becoming a huge mess and was extremely ratchet.
That's no good.
So maybe a good thing, although maybe not as fun as it could have been. But yeah, I had a great time this year. Did a bunch of dumb stuff with all my friends. Saw panels. Spent like $250. And isn't that the sign of fun? Using all your money up.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. It was just a good time. I had a really good time. Saw all the friends I don't usually get to see, and I only see them at MTAC. And it's just an enjoyable weekend overall.
Hmm.
Yeah, other than that, I didn't do too much. Tonight I was supposed to have gone to a concert, but kind of got shafted by my job because they didn't really let me off when they promised me they would. So I didn't get to go to that, which sucks, but overall it was a pretty hectic week. I was really exhausted after MTech. I slept for like 14 or 15 hours straight.
No.
So I guess that means I had a good time. What have you been up to though? Like, you've been playing DFO a lot.
Yeah, that's that and league and eating, maybe some sleeping in there. You know.
All right. So, how have your exploits in League and DFO been? Are you still trying to maintain middle plat in League for some reason?
No, no. I've been playing with some people. You know, so we've been winning sometimes.
What does that mean? Winning sometimes.
You know, it's like think about like it as a 51%. You know, you're not maintaining it. You're just slowly going somewhere.
Hmm. All right. So your goal is to go up.
Sure.
What do you mean sure? You either intend on going up or intend on not.
You know, I'm not gonna tell you where the current's gonna bring the Gabe.
All right. I don't know why we play ranked with you, Brad.
I don't know either.
Alright, how's DFO been? I've been, I didn't get super into it, and I've also been kept pretty busy, so I haven't really played that much, but what have you thought of it?
It's very fun. I like the PvP. It's like it's not too grindy, not yet anyway. Very fun right now.
How deep into the game are you? Like, what's your two highest level characters, I guess?
I haven't been playing a secondary one too much, but I got a level 56 guy and a level 30 guy.
So that's like,
And
have you gotten one of your, you've gotten one of your awakenings, right?
yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
Alright. So, what do you think? I guess that's like the first step into late game of the MMO, or is late game like once you're fully level capped?
Yeah, fully level cast would be start of late game, I guess.
Okay. So, what do you think about late mid game?
Yes, good old late mid game. Well, you know, some of the bosses are starting to get really obnoxious, and it's getting a little grindier, which is okay because I figured it would by this point. The only thing that really pisses me off are these fucking quests. Some of these quests are fucking awful. Like they're not feasible things that they could expect you to have. At this point, they're like, okay, go spend half your money to get this item for the quest.
Alright.
So that pissed me off, but I did it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Um, is like are the bosses in the combat, do they feel like skillful still, or is it like too easy, too hard?
Oh, it's definitely skillful. You see, and one of the requirements to get the highest rank on a dungeon is you have to beat it with a triple S rating, so just like combo guys, and you have to be attacked less than 10 times.
Hmm.
So when a boss has super armor, meaning you can't see him without like a grab, then that's pretty fucking obnoxious. But I did it. It only took a few hours.
Wait, what? Why is it important to rank out a dungeon?
Oh,
Is it just better drops?
better grinding, better drops, and I thought you might need it for a quest, but it was a fucking pain in the ass just to get it on that one dungeon.
All right. Well, it sounds like a blast.
Mm.
Well, moving on to good old competitive League of Legends.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. So I actually didn't really get to watch much this past week because it all happened while I was conventioning, I guess you could say. But I did get to watch some of it. I watched some VODs, and I researched like which games were interesting. And I've come to you to tell you what has happened, Bradley, because I know you didn't watch a single one.
Oh, did you happen to see the CLG games?
Shut up.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that. So, we'll start with OGN. OGN was pretty straightforward this week. Really, most of the games were stomps. I started with Najin versus GE, which I talked about last week. GE just kind of shit on Najin. Like, easy 2-0 sweep. Like, both games were over in like 24 minutes or something. Other than that, it was like SKT versus Samsung, which was also a clean sweep. But worth mentioning because A, SKT, my favorite team, and B, they played support Kinnan. They also played Tom and EasyHoon this week. I didn't actually watch these games, but they were pretty clean sweeps as well. It didn't seem like they had any issue, which is good to see that Tom is performing at a level. For those who don't know, Tom is SKT's rookie jungler. So they're training him, I guess. And they played support Kinnan, which is interesting. I think Edward played support Kinnan like back in like early season 4, and since then no one has played it. But my friend Archivist has always said that it's good. So, okay. But
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know how good it is, but it's interesting that they pulled it out. I don't know if they actually think it's good or if like it was just because it was against Samsung or something. I'll be curious to see if they bring it out more. But it is interesting because Korea hasn't really been playing Kinnan like at all due to Kinnan having some pretty major flaws, I would assume. One is that he's very kiteable. 2 is that if you have a knockback, it pretty much completely counters his kit. And 3, he's very he needs gold to do his job. So if he gets denied or you can't basically if you can't fuel gold to him, then there's really not much of a point in picking him. So it's just it's interesting that they finally did pick him, but even then in the support role. Other than that, I think CJ versus Jin Air. CJ beat Jin Air 2-0. And they also played Kinnan, but they played Kinnan in the mid lane. So once again, like it's a more guaranteed gold spot than top lane right now. Top lane you can usually deny them somewhere between 50 to 100 farm, depending on how well you lane swap. So putting them in mid lane makes sense if you want to get your Kinnan really farmed. Um, so we'll see. I mean, I C9 had already done that to not very much success. I don't remember if anyone else has, but we'll see if it catches on anywhere else. We've also saw Cho'Gath finally making its way to the mid lane in Korea this week.
Wonderful.
So, interesting. And I think it's just part of, like, I don't know if it's because, like, I know Cho'Gath did get buffed a while back with the whole feast minion cooldown reset thing. But I don't know if, like, champion matchups have changed favorably for him. But I think it's just the nature of, like, this super tanky meta that has kind of brought him back. Right now, basically one of the tankiest frontline you can. And Cho'Gath gets really tanky and also does a pretty decent amount of damage. He doesn't do, like, an extreme amount, but he has a pretty substantial amount of burst, or single target burst.
Yep.
So, he's good for that at least. So, but we've seen he's also a lane bully and pretty much a free farm mid. Like, you can't really lose lane with Cho'Gath mid unless you get camped. So, solid return to Cho'Gath. Yeah, CJ pretty much beat Jennera pretty easily as well. I think the other match was like KT versus IM, and they played Kinnan and Cho'Gath too, I think. Or maybe I think it was just Cho'Gath for CJ, and then it was Kinnan and Cho'Gath for IM and CJ and KT. But yeah, so seems like the meta is swinging in some pretty interesting ways. A lot of champion picks are being thrown around. Sivir is getting much more important as a priority pick too, which is interesting because of it being such, like, tanky CC heavy team comps now. Having the Sivir in the team comp really helps you get in position or avoid a team fight really well. And on top of that, really drawn out team fights, the speed helps. And Sivir in a drawn out team fight helps as well. Like her W ricochet, does a lot of AoE over time. So anyways. Yeah, so that's OGN. And NA, pretty straightforward wins. Impulse versus Gravity. I was disappointed. I thought Gravity would do a lot better. I didn't actually watch this series, but going into it, I thought that Gravity would be kind of a dark horse that would pull out a victory. But he got beat pretty thoroughly from what I can tell. And yeah, that's all I really have to say because I didn't really get to watch the series. Then there's Team Liquid versus CLG.
Alright.
Why do you want to know my pain, Brett? Why must you make fun of me?
I mean, I don't know. It's just, yeah, so go on.
Speaking of CLG pain, at MTAC, Judcia, who will be on later, we saw this guy with an Afro jersey, and we walked up to him and I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry for your loss." And then Judcia out of nowhere says, "Hey, can we take a picture with us laughing at you?" And I was just like, "What the fuck, Judcia? It's so mean."
Uh, damn.
And you can guess that he just said no, and we went our separate ways. But it was like, damn. So at least I didn't get made fun of as hard as that guy. But yeah. Team Liquid kind of shit all over CLG. It really was not even a close series. Like CLG had every opportunity to win, but they just couldn't really pull together. Some of the issues were, like, I'd say the number one issue was horrible pick ban phase. None of their team comps really made any sense. See, the first two games, they had no engage, and they had global abilities without lockdown for either lane to play off the globals. So, for example, they had TF and Vlad in the top lane, and there's really no way for like Vlad has no kill pressure on any top laner, so there's no way they can really utilize TF ganks that well. Also, Vlad takes a long time to ramp up, and I don't think Vlad in top lane is as good as Vlad in mid lane because he doesn't get to run Ghost. Past that, the first game they just didn't team fight well as usual. They had good objective control in the early game, but once it got to a point where team fighting became important, they just couldn't really win anymore. Link wasn't really Link got Zhonya's, but he wouldn't really port into their backline and Zhonya's, so it was kind of a wasted item. And then they were just team fighting a team that had much better team fighting as well. I mean, they were ahead, but they just got out team fight. So that was game one. Game two, they picked one of the most atrocious comps I've ever seen. They picked Vlad and Karthus, two of the most kiteable champions in the game. I don't know if you've ever played Karthus into a kiting team comp, but it's very hard to do damage because you'll just die without ever making it into them. And they picked these two champions into a Juggernaut comp, which excels at peeling and kiting with a long-range DPS 80 carry. So, really horrible pick ban. And then their only engage was Sejuani ult, and Xmithy couldn't land his Sejuani ults. So that was bad. I mean, it was bad on Xmithy, but it was also bad that they made him play a champion that he just didn't seem comfortable on, and that they only made their only engage a champion that he wasn't comfortable on. Like, you can't only have one source of engage when you're against a Juggernaut comp. Like, you're just gonna lose. There's no way it's going to work. Like, there would be every fight, like, the other Liquid would live with, like, really low health, but they just couldn't clean them up because they didn't have any chase, any cleanup. So they just kind of lost. And then the third game, they tried a double AD comp, and they just kind of got rolled that game. Wasn't too much to say. They kind of just looked demoralized. All of them were playing pretty mediocrely, and that was kind of that. So CLG was very unimpressive. and it was really disappointing. Obviously, some roster changes will have to happen. I think they'll have to get rid of Link at this point. I would say keep Zion. I'd probably swap out Smithy if they can find another player. Double and Afro, I guess you can keep, but they really need a better pick ban, and they need a better shot caller. Because Link has been doing the pick ban, and it's been really bad. So that was the name. Sadness.
So much fun.
Jerk. What happens when TSM loses 3-0 to Impulse?
I'll laugh at them.
At TSM.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. EU was... I only got to watch one series, Unicorns of Love versus Gambit. That series was a clusterfuck. Gambit was winning every single game, and then they would throw in magnificent 2-minute long team fights in which they would not stop fighting, and they would just throw the games in these ridiculous engages or tower dives that made no sense. They would play the game perfectly up until those moments, and then they would just completely throw the game out the window. And so they lost 3-1. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. They would start out each series, play the objective control, lane swaps, early dragons out perfectly. Great vision control, you name it. And then Pinoy would get caught, or they would do a bad dive, they'd overextend, and then they would just throw the game. It was really odd.
Damn.
Yeah. Really, really weird. Then H2K beat out Copenhagen Wolves 3-0. Didn't get to watch that one, but I guessed that would happen. Not that that's the greatest guess of all time, but just trying to say it was a pretty obvious outcome, I think. Yeah, that was pretty much it with competitive league the last week. Tank meta has been pretty interesting. Who has emerged as strong picks? You really don't see Jarvan, Vi, or Lee Sin anymore. It's been pretty much exclusively tanky junglers, with either hard engage or hard peel, because number one, that's what most tank junglers do, but also because you want right now team fighting is really, really long, drawn out, kiting based team fights. So the meta is shifting towards comps that favor that. So it's interesting. I'm wondering if that's how it will be going all the way into MSI, or if there'll be another patch to switch things up. I know they're going to nerf Cinderhulk a little bit, which might change it up a bit, but we'll see. What do you think about this meta? Do you enjoy it?
No.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
I don't know, man. I just want to Singed meta.
But why? Singed meta is as bad as Taric meta, and didn't you once tell me?
That's exactly what I want.
But you once told me that, you would never want Taric to be meta, because if Taric is meta, then he's broken as shit.
That may be true, but I love playing Taric.
Okay. So you just want broken, easy champs that take no brain?
Yes.
That take no mechanics and are only as good as your decision making?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's I I just fucking hate mobile champions. I hate champions like Nidalee.
Ah, I see, I see. Alright. Well, maybe someday you'll get your Singe, Brad. It would have to be a meta that favors um, not lane swapping. So if you ever see that coming, that'll be your time.
Alright.
Well, I mean, that's being competitive. I don't know what would make him OP in solo queue. I mean, they would. Have you tried them since the recent buffs? They've given them several.
No, I haven't touched them. I guess I'll have to give them another shot.
Yeah, give them another shot. See what you can do with them. All right. Well, last but not least, patch 5.7 is gonna get live tonight. So let's hit those patch notes, huh?
Yeah.
So let's see. First up, they're giving Bard some buffs because he's garbage. Really, really bad champ. He's just not excellent at anything. He's just very average at pretty much all he does. Like, he's supposed to be played as a roaming support, but I would much rather have Blitzcrank or Alistar or Annie roam. His healing is pretty decent, but I would rather have Nami or Soraka heal me, or Sona. His harass with his autos is okay, but I'd rather have Lulu. So it's just like everything he does, like someone else does it better. And I think they need to strengthen something about him that gives him a better niche. Instead of just kind of giving him basic buffs. But hopefully this will help him out. They're just buffing a bit of his base stats. Buffing his passive. The Meep mana restore. Which is cool, I guess. I mean, it just lets him spam mana or spells in lane a bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's good. They also buffed his like little meep things. They take less time to respawn, which is good because, I mean, he just doesn't do anything when he doesn't have him up. Like,
yeah,
he can throw his Q. Great. He doesn't have any auto attack damage, so it's whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this will help him out. They also buffed the damage and scaling on his Q, which was pretty low considering it was his only damaging ability. So yeah, hopefully this will help him out. I don't think it's gonna make it like close to OP or anything. In fact, I think it'll still be underwhelming, but hopefully this will help people see what they can do with him and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say nerfed Blitzcrank. What do you think?
I think it's just a style change, but for the most, well, a style change in laning, but in a lot of scenarios, it is a nerf.
Yeah, I think it's a nerf in like team fights, I'd say, but it's good for like, I don't know, I guess picks. Basically, they made his W a huge movement speed boost that rapidly decays into a slow over time. So they basically want you to use it strategically instead of just always having W on. Now W is like, it's much more of a strategic tool than it just like a, well, let me just have W on because I'm gonna go walk around, you know. So they're just giving it like lows and highs, I guess. Which I guess makes sense. He does have a pretty high win rate right now, and I guess it's an okay nerf. What do you think about the Darius buffs?
Let me go review them quickly. Let's see. Yes, the refund and the reset. I think they're fine. I don't think they're gonna change them too much, but you know, they'll help him a bit.
I think it's nice that they're kind of buffing his late game. Um, he's not horrible late game, but he's not like nearly as menacing as he is in the early game, where like he pretty much shits on every lane. Um, Making it so that his ult resets completely after his ult, and that he won't as quickly from ulting is really nice for his late game team fighting. Um, I think it's actually a pretty significant buff to his late game. I mean, obviously it's a significant buff, but it might make him a little too strong, in my opinion. But we'll see.
Hmm.
You don't think so?
I guess I'd have to. I'm having trouble just picturing it, but you're right. It could be really strong in certain fights.
Because Darius typically has an issue with running in late game team fights. He has really expensive mana costs, and especially if he's dunking a lot, then um, he can pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And if the team fight lasts too long, he can also just lose his ult. So I think it's pretty significant, but we'll see. They buffed Evelyn for some petty amount of damage. Whatever. I don't think it matters that much. I mean, it'll help. It'll help her, I guess, but I don't play Evelyn, so I can't really tell how significant this is. I mean, it's a significant amount of damage, like over time, but I guess it primarily helps with her jungle clear. But I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't play Evelyn. Fizz. This is actually like a buff to AD Fizz, because right now he has to use the active for the on hit, or he has to use the active W for the percent missing health, and now that they're swapping it back to the percent missing health as the base passive, it's actually a lot better for AD Fizz. Um,
Is it though? Because now there's no point in building attack speed
why?
because it's over 3 seconds. You'd only need to auto them once every 3 seconds to get the same missing health damage.
Oh, I didn't realize that they made that change. Okay, they made the percent missing health a dot
Mm-hmm.
instead of instant. Oh, that's actually a pretty big nerf. I misread that.
Hmm.
Huh. Yeah, that's a pretty big nerf. They might. Hmm. I don't know what to think about that. That's pretty bad, actually.
Sure.
He might lose viability because of that. Because the only thing that made him okay early was his W. Like basically, you lost most matchups, or you went okay in a lot of matchups. You had decent survivability and decent trading with W Max. It's not like you're a lane bully, but then once you hit 6, you could pretty much 1v1 anybody. But taking it off each auto is actually a lot of damage gone. So I don't know if he'll be able to survive until 6. It also makes his damage with his 6 a lot less. It would make his short trading a lot better, but in long drawn out fights, it's a lot worse.
Hmm.
So we'll see. They buffed Garen, Demacia Justice.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize it was named Demacia Justice. I just wanted to say Demacia and Justice, but that's kind of a coincidence.
Hmm.
Is Garen broken now, Brett?
Yeah, he's beyond broken.
Really?
Gonna have to ban him every game.
Do you actually think he's gonna be broken?
Uh, Not at 120 seconds. Even if they put it at 80 at all levels, then probably.
80 at every level would be so fucking annoying.
I mean, it's a really, really strong killing ability.
Alright, they nerfed Pegram's base stats because he was too annoying in lane. Makes sense. Kassadin. They made it so that his Rift Walk stack duration doesn't last as long, so he doesn't burn out on mana as quickly. Or if he wants to let the stacks go, it goes a lot faster. 20 seconds is a long time to leave the stack up.
Yep.
They nerfed Maokai's early game by making the percent max health restore off his passive scale with levels from 5, 6, 7. I think Maokai's still going to be strong. He just won't be as annoying early game. He'll be able to lane against him a lot easier. Right now he's just kind of strong at literally every point in the game, which is really obnoxious. So toning down his laning will help a lot, considering he's like the most annoying tank in the game, late game.
Yeah.
They nerfed some of Nidalee's base stats, which I guess makes sense. They nerfed her health and her health per level. It just means like she has a lot riskier play now. Like you can't just always jump in because this is gonna be a significantly squishier. 180 plus 30. That's like 220, 210 health off late game. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So you'll be a lot squishier. You'll have to play a lot smarter. And especially in the early game, you can't just... maybe you won't always be able to outduel everybody. So, we'll see. They changed how blinds work. I'm not really sure what they're trying to say. It seems like the blind needs to hit them earlier. But I can't tell.
Yeah, I just kind of skimmed it.
It says blind miss window change from on attack declaration to on attack launch. Oh no, it's slightly later. So on attack declaration would be when you right click them. On attack launch is when the particle gets sent or just before the attack hits for melee champions. So it gives you a longer period of time to blind them. Which I guess is nice for champions who use blinds.
Yeah.
They nerfed Rek'Sai, but then helped her be a little bit more mobile. I don't know if this was necessary. I thought Rek'Sai was in a decent spot, but I also haven't played Rek'Sai yet, so I don't know. This may be too much. I think they'll probably revert the Q, or maybe buff something else, because 0.6 bonus AD on a Q. I don't know.
Sure.
This is pretty underwhelming. They buff Shin because he's useless. I still think he'll be mediocre or average. This will help him, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not going to do too much.
Right now, Shin was strong in a meta where he could 1v1 any top laner and then be omnipresent in any team fight. And to be honest, he just can't 1v1 every top laner anymore. And they're better tanks, and everyone wants TP anyways. So I just don't see why you would ever pick Shin right now. Singe, bug fix, whatever.
Whoa. You can't just say that. Jungle Singe is super OP now.
Whatever. Tristana buff. It's a cool quality of life change that they're making Q and E play off each other. Basically, both abilities lower their cooldown off of each other. If you hit something while E is on it, it lowers Q. And if you hit things while Q is active, it lowers E. So if you play it right, the cooldowns can be much shorter in team fights. I think that's what they want you to do, is to kind of play around her E, which is alright. You know, they're trying to make her more, giving her a more identifiable kit, which is cool, I guess. They're nerfing Cinder Hulk health. Makes sense. It was a little too much, considering it gave you so much extra health, or percent extra health. It changed Tiamat so that the damage is linear instead of in like 3 cones of damage. I don't know how. I don't think it's gonna be that significant, but we'll see. They nerfed the Gromp Smite buff. I think this is pretty significant. That was actually doing. If you were like Scion or Mundo or Sejuani, and you went and smited Gromp before a team fight late game, that was actually like a lot of damage in a team fight, and with very little counterplay. If you just kind of like walked at the carries, like they would actually hurt themselves a lot, especially if you have like a Thornmail plus that, and then plus Cinder Hulk. Like it was just a lot of damage with very little counterplay. So I think they're just trying to tone that back. It's pretty obnoxious. They're changing Loon's Echo. It's not as much AP, and it's a bit cheaper. It builds out a blasting monster needlessly. I think it was kind of an annoying item because of how strong it was. Like 120 AP item. They gave that much burst. It's just really annoying. So I think this is just helping it, or making it less of a power pickup, I guess. Well, this is only for Twisted Tree Line and Crystal Scar, so never mind. I don't care. I don't know why. I guess they just made it so that it makes sense to glue on that map. Never mind. So that's the patch notes. Thanks everyone for tuning in this week. Right after this, I'll be talking to Judcia about MTAC. Hope you guys stay tuned. But as for me and Brad, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Hello, and welcome to the second half of Incoherent Thoughts, episode 23. If you weren't listening, then here is our special guest, Judcia Williams.
Hello.
So, this week, we went to MTAC, Judcia. How'd you enjoy MTAC?
MTAC was so fun. I cosplayed this year. I was very excited to cosplay.
What were some of your cosplays?
So, I did a Shinobu cosplay. Shinobu is from No More Heroes, if anyone's played that game. I did an Atsuko cosplay from Michiko to Hachijin, which is a very great show. Lots of Afro-Brazilian references and culture. And I did Matryoshka Gumi.
Alright, that's a lot of stuff. But yeah, we did a lot of stuff this weekend. We did our panel, we did our lip sync contest, we did all our cosplays. What was your favorite part of the weekend? You also volunteered and stuff.
Oh yeah, I volunteered. My favorite part of the weekend was probably, doing that risque cosplay, me and a bunch of friends.
You didn't do the risque cosplay with friends.
No, I said meeting.
Oh, and
I met a bunch of friends from the risque cosplay contest.
Gotcha.
Oh, I guess we should explain to them what the risque cosplay contest. Can we do that,
Yeah.
or is it just okay? So basically, the risque cosplay contest is, contestants. It's like 18 plus contestants like strip to the song, and they cosplay and they be all sexy and strip, and whoever's sexiest is the sexiest. So this year they did a little bit different. They did it. They what they did is they put it in, instead of doing someone, there's three winners, first, second, third place. What they did was they put all the groups of people in three different groups. Apprentice, which was what I was in since I hadn't done it before. Journeyman are people who've done it, every year, and then master or champion, whatever, are people who are just like, they do it and they're like really good, and it's just really convenient that all the strippers are in that one strippers. It's convenient. Like, I mean, like, I understand. I love strippers. I love like all the things that they could do, but it kind of sucks when like a stripper wins every year. No, well, last year the winner was actually not a stripper, but the winner. The thing is, the winner from last year, she performed, but she couldn't win because she won last year. So I actually won my apprentice one, which I was very surprised. It was like my first thing doing this. One would say I'm not really comfortable with my body, but I wanted to do it to just, get out of like my zone. It was great experience. I'm gonna do it next year.
Awesome, that's cool.
Something that Gabriel missed.
Well, I did miss because I was kicked out of the line, so I don't know how you can keep bringing this up. For those that understand, MTAC has a lot of lines, and a lot of lines are very long. And sometimes you can stand in a line for an hour and get kicked out of a line. And that's what happened. End of story. So, but yeah, how long did you practice for your risque cosplay?
Dude, I practiced it for about like 2 weeks, right? And I was really nervous. And then I went up there and I didn't even do anything that I practiced.
Oh, really? Did you just kind of like freeball it?
No, I didn't. I did, hey, I strip here. But, like, there were some dance moves I hadn't done at all. I was just like, what? There was just, like, one, I was just, like, rolling on the floor and stuff. And I was like, this wasn't in my dance. I just kind of just, like, I got into it, I guess.
I see.
I couldn't really see the audience. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Well, it's cool that you just kind of figured it out and it works so well.
Yeah, except next year I'm going to be really nervous about doing it because I'm not going to be in apprenticeship. They're either going to put me in, I don't know, I think there was talk about me skipping over journeyman and going straight to masters. Because I know, well, they said, when Robin, she's like, you never done this before, and I'm like, no, and she's like, man, I should have put you in masters. I didn't know you were gonna do that well, and I was like, I've never done this before. So I think because I won and I did perform pretty well, I think they might put me in masters with all the strippers. That'll like destroy me, even though I can't win next year. But it'll just be weird to have that competition. It was fun though. It was a really fun experience. It's fun being around people who are like really, really confident, and they make you feel confident in yourself. It's really great.
Awesome. Well, what were some of your other favorite things that you did? I know for me, what would be my favorite? I don't know. For me, the weekend as a whole was just kind of fun.
It was great.
Fun in general, and there weren't any particular highs. It was just a lot of fun stuff going on constantly. But
hanging out with our friends, we can only see like 3 times a year because we're all in college and stuff. It was really nice. Like, it felt just like, like high school and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely a lot of fun.
I was saddened that I kept getting annoyed at people, but I think I was annoyed mostly because that one person was there and I was anxious.
Okay.
But what I really did like was, I really liked what they had in the dealer's room, and I feel like if I wasn't volunteering, I would have got some really good stuff
I thought
to
the
do.
dealer room sucked.
Really?
Yeah, they had so little stuff this year.
No, it's not that they had so little stuff. Like, all the stuff that I wanted was, like, sold out by the time I went in there, and I was like, fuck. Like, all the MTAC stuff I wanted was gone.
I don't know. They didn't have any good shirts this year. They didn't have any good plushies I wanted. I mean, they had a lot of plushies, but
Yeah, they had the same old plushies.
the
I wish they would have had more League
they
stuff.
didn't really have any obscure figurines. It was all very
All the
simpler
anime,
stuff.
yeah, all the anime stuff I liked. They either didn't have it or like had shitties. Like Kill la Kill is a very popular anime, but they barely even had any Kill la Kill stuff there.
Yeah.
They didn't have any panty and stocking stuff. I am very thankful of my pictures. I got literally two of the sickest Death Note posters ever.
Mhm.
Like they're so good. I just like look at it. I'm just like, this is so sick, man. So sick.
I don't know. For me, it was kind of whatever. Like, there wasn't anything super cool at the dealer room. It wasn't. It wasn't exactly.
They sold a lot. They sold a lot more swords than they usually do.
Yeah.
They had a lot more swords, and they had a lot of more prop swords too. Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't know, the dealer room. I just like it had a lot of stuff, but I didn't think it had a very good variety of things. Is the issue, you know? Like, even though they had two huge rooms, um, it seemed like a lot of it was very just mainstream kind of anime and like nerd culture things.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any like less popular shows represented as well. So I'd like to see that next year if at all possible. You know.
Yeah. Cause I don't actually really like a lot of mainstream anime and all that stuff. I mean, like I really like Kill la Kill, and that's mainstream, and they barely had shit for that. They didn't have any penny and stocking stuff. They rarely had any Inuyasha stuff. I think it was more of the mainstream that like how to explain this? Like the mainstream of anime now is completely different than it was when we were in high school. It's like brainless, if I say so myself.
I don't know about that, but I think it's pretty much the
When
same.
you have a show called Here Comes the Twin Tails, you start to think about anime. Jesus Christ, that show.
I don't think it's not like that show was super represented.
It was more there than fucking panty and stocking.
Okay. Panty and stocking wasn't that popular. It was pretty popular. I don't know. Hopefully they branch out the dealer room a bit next year.
Yeah.
While we're critiquing, I also think it's kind of shitty that we're stuck in a smaller area or hotel or whatever that we can't go to the convention center. I think a lot of the issues this year could be solved with a bigger space.
We already know why we can't be in a bigger space, though.
Yeah. But like, a lot of the main panels and main events were completely booked to. I mean, the rooms were just too full. Like, especially the late night ones, like speed dating, risque cosplay, they were way over capacity, and like, it really sucks that just because we can't get a bigger space that not as many people can go to those events.
Oh yeah, but it's also a fire code.
Yeah, but if it was a bigger space, more people would be allowed in it.
Yes, yes.
So hopefully we can get a bigger space and alleviate some of that. I also think we need to like somehow get lines working better because, I mean, we're good with like managing them in the hotel, but like I just feel like people are having to line up for way too long to get into events.
Do you want to know why?
Sure.
Because Loss Prevention wasn't in charge of any of the lines this year. They said, hey, we want to get our own volunteers for our own line, and guess how that worked out for them? they also tried to do the thing for the dealer room. They're just like, we can't do this. We need loss prevention. Sure, you did. It's because like they're just like, hey, you guys, you don't have to do much this year because the other departments decide to get their own volunteers for this stuff. And you know what they did? They ended up asking for us anyway because they couldn't do it. They're like, we can't do this.
I mean, I wasn't really talking about like how the lines are organized. I was just saying like, I don't know if it's possible, but just the fact that like you're starting to have to like sit in line for like an hour and a half for some of the main events is kind of ridiculous.
But that's how big cons are. You have to stand in line like 3 to 4 hours.
Way bigger. And
I know they're way bigger.
Sitting in line for 1 hour at a huge convention isn't that bad, but sitting in line for an hour at a medium-sized convention is kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I haven't actually been to a huge con, so maybe I'm misjudging the situation, but
I know that I wanted to get someone went to Otakon and wanted to get me an autograph for something, and they waited in line 3 to 4 hours only for them to close the line and say, "Hey, you can't get any more autographs."
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and Otakon is a big con. We should go to Otakon one day.
All right.
What? We should go to a lot of cons.
True, but
there's gonna be a point where we get all old and we have to like be responsible and stuff, and we can't go to cons.
I don't know about that, but I think you can always go to conventions. It's not like you don't need to like do everything at a convention. You can just go.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend hours and hours ahead of time planning everything out like you do.
I mean, I have to after my experience with like my boyfriend and wanted me to go to Canada and kind of just, waiting till like 3 days before I have to leave to do it.
Okay, well that was kind of randomly passive aggressive.
I'm so sorry. I'm still so mad at him love him though. I'm glad our relationship.
Anyways, so
Oh.
Going back to the con instead of being passive aggressive towards your boyfriend.
I'm sorry. Love him.
This year was pretty fun though. I did a lot more things instead of just kind of passively enjoying the con, which is a different experience, going hands-on with a convention and doing panels and events. It was a lot different experience and viewpoint than from passively enjoying the con. You gotta plan things out a lot more. You don't have as much time to just do whatever. And but I did enjoy it. I thought our panel went pretty well. We had a lot of people, surprisingly. We were a main event, or a main panel.
Yeah, we were a main event. That was so weird. It was just like, you're a main event now.
Yeah. I don't know. We probably had like at max people, like somewhere between 60 and 100 people in the room, right?
Yeah, we had about 100, 120. A couple of people left because they didn't want me to spoil the second season of Psycho Pass for them.
Yeah, and then it dropped down to like 30 to 60 maybe. Towards the end.
Just still pretty good. Then they wanted candy. Some stayed for the candy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool that we had so many people come to our panel. I mean, obviously, I'm not the best presenter, and I have the ad. I have ADD, so like I get distracted a lot. So I'm not the best presenter.
It also didn't help that our friends was texting the whole time.
One of my friends kept calling and texting me and like waving at me from the audience to try and mess with me. So that was kind of annoying, but it was also pretty funny.
Fernando was like, Judcia, can I ask you inappropriate questions?
Yeah. And then one of my friends was just like, boo, bae, hey, boo, hey, bae, hey, bae, boo, boo. Just like repeatedly. And then he called me while I was on stage. Luckily I had it on vibrate, but like, come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
And then they would just like make stupid faces and whatever. It was a good time. I
Yeah.
thought we talked about some good points. We analyzed the show relatively well. We
Yeah.
had some cool things to compare and contrast about the first and second season.
The Psychopath cosplayers were so adorable. Oh, you didn't see the girls though, did you? They're adorable.
Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. I saw a few Psychopaths cosplayers just walking around, but I'm not sure if I saw the ones you're talking about. But yeah, I thought our panel went pretty well. Obviously, I could have presented it a little bit better, but it's whatever. Also thought maybe we summarized a little bit too much, but I thought
Yeah.
the summary. I thought we often linked the summary to analysis, which kind of balanced it out. Then we did the lip sync contest, which in the end we decided, yay, let's just have fun with it instead of like taking it
Oh,
seriously.
I'm gonna go diva mode my ass.
I mean, I kind of did, considering how prepared
No.
I was. But I will admit, I didn't go that ham. It was.
I went diva mode. What are you talking about?
Well, I thought by diva mode that like we were just gonna put like a lot of emphasis on the dance moves we had practiced, not that you would randomly break out of the routine and do your own stuff.
That's what diva mode is. What are you talking about? That's what I thought when you're like, I'm gonna go straight diva mode. That's what I thought you're gonna do.
I just
It's
meant like I was gonna like put a lot of emphasis in my dance moves.
Yeah. I'm so upset that you didn't dress as Miku.
Yeah, that sucked.
That was a waste of
It's not a
money.
waste of money. I can do it next year.
Well, you still have to buy a better wig. I bought you the jacket though, so it's all good.
Yeah, the wig turned out not to be that great of a wig, and I also couldn't really dance in the wig, so couldn't really
Oh,
cosplay it that well. Plus, the wig
Oh.
just looked jank anyways. I didn't want to watch
Oh,
it
yeah.
on stage.
if we do it, I mean, no offense, but if they do have a lip sync contest again, I'm so gonna do it by myself. But not because like you weren't good. It's
Don't
just
lie,
like
it is.
I think I think our schedule was too hectic for us to do it with two people.
Yeah, that's true.
Not because I don't love you or anything, because I do.
Yeah, I think it was fun in the end. We didn't really go. I wasn't ever intending to like win or anything. I just wanted to have fun with it. I think you were a bit more competitive, but I think in the end we both had fun with it.
We got shout out Wordsworth.
We got shout out, true.
Wordsworth.
Anything else you want to talk about the weekend?
I think I'm really supportive of like. I'm really glad that I had my friends there with all because there's always drama and like drama sucks. But I'm just glad that I was there with friends and stuff. Things that piss me off are like people shit talking the con and they weren't even like there. That stuff makes me so upset because MTAC, they really tried their best this year and they did really well, only for them to get shit on by people who weren't there and people who expect them to bow down to their needs.
Yes.
Overall, I really think Nico did a really good job. He was really interactive and everything. I think they need to weed out their staff a little bit more, and then they'll be okay.
We gonna be
Because
all
people are still complaining about,
I said we gonna be all right.
We gonna be alright. That was our slogan for the weekend? We gonna be alright.
Yeah, I think so.
It was great. I meant like another thing that kind of annoyed me was I think next year if we get a room, I think I do want it to be just us and that my friends were kind of an inconvenience, except you guys benefited from that. I didn't. I thought they were being kind of annoying. But I think I'm better with like my closer friends because
I
Gerald
don't know.
was being
Like,
annoying.
I thought it was. I mean, like, I had a good time regardless, but it was kind of ridiculous how many people got in the room. Originally, it was going to be like 5 people, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing.
What do you mean? It only went up by 2.
There were like eight or nine people in the room.
Wait, yeah, 2 of my friends, but like, who else was not supposed to be in the room?
Daryl wasn't gonna sleep there.
I thought he was gonna sleep there Saturday. I mean, he didn't sleep there Friday, but I thought he was gonna
I
sleep
mean,
there
it just got
Saturday.
like a lot more full. I mean, it's fine. Like I still had a good time with all the people
Yeah.
there, but
I mean, yeah, well, like Geraldine, she didn't have a place to stay, and I actually don't think her friends. Now I understand. I think it wasn't that she didn't have a place to stay. I think that her friends didn't want to stay with her, and I was just like, hey, I really want you to go to MTAC and you can stay with me. And then I wanted Dimitri to go because he'd never been. But like the thing is with Dimitri is like I didn't have a ride there, and with him coming, I could have a ride, but he'd have to stay there, and I don't think that's
I
what.
got you. You don't have to justify inviting them. Don't worry about it.
I don't. Dude, but when I think about it, I don't know what I'm gonna do for next year. I don't know how I'm gonna get there for next year. I mean, I have ways, but it would require me to skip class, and I don't like skipping class unless I have to.
Well, you can decide when it comes closer to the event.
It's gonna come by so fast. The only other person that will stay in our room next year is probably Jer Bear, because I want to try to fly him down here so he can go.
Sounds expensive.
What do you mean sounds expensive? My Canadian coworker just showed me a website of really cheap flights, and I was just like, wow, okay.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening this week. It's a bit longer of an episode, but appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed all of our stuff, check out our Facebook, our website, YouTube channel, Brad's YouTube channel, and all that stuff. If any of you guys into MTAC, hope you had a great time, and post some of your own favorite stuff or stuff you didn't like on the website or on Facebook. And
if you want pictures of my cosplay, Gabriel will gladly post it on the page for you guys.
True. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, bye.